Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever and whenever you are. My name is Ben, and welcome to this Heartbeast update video. The last time I did this was in 2023. Coincidentally, it was also in July, and I was also wearing this exact same green t-shirt, which that was not planned. I'm going to give quick bullet points of what I'm going to talk about in this video. First, I migrated my paid courses from Teachable to Kajabi. So if you're a paid student, you'll want to stick around and hear that update. I'll do it first in the video. Second, I have a new paid course, a 2D hack and slash project, 2D hack and slash game that is launching next Friday on the 18th. Third, I'm going to be redoing the Action RPG YouTube series for Godot 4. I've got a lot of requests for that, and I've also learned a lot about Godot, and Godot 4 I think has a lot of improvements over Godot 3, so that's going to be a really fun series to do. Fourth, I'll be talking a little bit about Wazard, what I've been working on with it. I've been updating that on my podcast still, so if you're following that, you'll probably already know about those things. But I'm going to talk about that a little bit. And lastly, I'm going to talk about my thoughts on AI. I did a poll on my YouTube channel. I polled my audience, and I'm going to show that and talk about how I think it's potentially affecting my business. I can't prove anything, but I'm just going to kind of talk about my thoughts there. So first, let's get started with the course migration. So I moved from Teachable to Kajabi, and I like Kajabi quite a bit so far. If you own any of my courses on Teachable and you want to access those courses, go to my website, www.heartgamedev.com, and there will be a legacy login button, and that will allow you to log in to Teachable. The courses still exist on Teachable, my old ones. Any new course I make is going to be on Kajabi. And if you want to migrate your courses from Teachable to Kajabi, all you have to do is send me an email, ben@heartgamedev.com, with your Teachable email, and I can migrate your courses over for you to the new hosting platform, and then you can use the default login button and not the legacy login. I've already done that for quite a few students who wanted to migrate over, but migrating over is not necessary. But if you do want to buy any of my new courses, you will have to use Kajabi because I won't be releasing them on Teachable. The other thing is that I didn't migrate over any of my GameMaker courses. They will forever remain on the Teachable legacy login button. But I'm not removing that, so you can just access them forever right there. But what I did migrate over was all of my Godot courses, even the older ones, and all of my pixel art courses. So there you go. That's the update on that. Let's look at the 2D hack and slash project. Okay. If you have been following me for a while, you'll actually recognize this as my project Grave. And this is a game that I made. Whoops, I already died. This is a game I made for a Ludum Dare Game Jam, and I actually did a YouTube series for it. And now I'm making a paid Godot course for it as well, which walks you through the process of making this game inside of Godot 4 with all of the animations and combo system and the state machine. So let's take a look at what that looks like. I've got the skeleton player open right here. If we come into our animation tree and we click on animation tree, this project primarily focuses on using the animation tree to create state machines for both the player character and the enemy characters. You can see we use the animation player, which we can set up different animations, and then we can set those animations as states inside of our state machine, and then attach logic to those different states with a script. So you can see I can roll here. We can use a swipe in our combo sequence right here, the 1, 2, 3 combo. And inside this move state, we have both an idle and a run state for both. And I also set up hitboxes and hurtboxes for all of these different states. That's the primary thing that the course covers. It obviously covers a lot of stuff because in order to make a project like this, it takes a lot. The course is about 40 hours. No, not 40 hours. Oh my gosh. 8 hours. It's about 8 hours of edited video content. So the content is edited down some. And I think it's a great course. If you're interested in learning more about it, watch here on my channel next week, next Friday. I'll be releasing a video with more information, and I'll do a launch price for the course as well. Yeah, that's it for this. Let's take a look at the Action RPG series. So I'll be redoing the Action RPG series in Godot 4. I'm pretty excited about this, and I think you're all going to enjoy it. It will also use the animation tree with different animations in a state, and it will be using the blend space in order to animate in multiple different directions, in 4 different directions, which is similar to how it worked in Godot 3. But I think there's a few improvements to how I'm doing it now over the way that I was doing it back then. I've learned a bit more about this, and I'm excited to do this series. I've already started recording. I'll be releasing the first video next Friday as well. So it'll be kind of like 2 videos on the 18th. So you can look out for both of those. And I hope you're as excited for this new YouTube series as I am. Here's just a quick little update on Wazard. You can see I have been updating the Steam page quite a bit. There is a free demo that you can try. It's going to tell me that I'm the developer of this, but there is a demo that you can download and try. It does run on Steam Deck currently. I have a pre-alpha going. Mute this just in case it starts playing again. I have a pre-alpha going for this as well, where I'm going to be getting feedback on some changes that I'm making to it. But you can see I've already made quite a few changes to the art style, and kind of there's going to be some other changes coming as well to the game. I'm still in pre-production, but I'm very close to production now, and having a lot of fun working on this project. It's kind of just turned into a little side project. It's not something I can work on full time right now, but when I do have time to work on it, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And if you haven't wishlisted it yet, please go to the Steam page and wishlist it. That helps me a ton. Oh, and I'll also leave a link down in the comments to the podcast if you're interested in that. It's very rambly, just kind of my thoughts as I'm working through stuff. But I know some of you will appreciate that type of content. And so I'll leave a link for that if you want to check it out. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You've pretty much made it to the end of this video. From here on out, I'm going to be rambling / somewhat ranting about AI. Not ranting really, but just talking through my thoughts about it. And so if you're interested in that, my thoughts on this, you can hang around for that. Otherwise, you've got the important stuff, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. So I asked this poll to my YouTube audience, and it got 2.1K votes. I asked how often they're using AI to answer game development and programming related questions. So this has come from a place of I've been struggling to get engagement in my YouTube channel, and also even in my Discord channel for my paid courses. I used to get a lot of questions and a lot more leads, I would say. New leads on YouTube videos. My videos tended to have longer tails to them. I don't have proof. I can't prove any of what I'm feeling right now. But I was talking with my brother the other day, and I was talking about how I felt like I was kind of struggling to make my business work. My business has been primarily free YouTube content and then paid course content. That's how I've been able to do this business for the last 11 years. And I never made a ton of money doing it, but I made enough that I could keep doing it and work from home and do what I love. But unfortunately, recently it hasn't done very well. And I was talking with my brother about that, and he said, I was talking primarily about getting new leads and how my YouTube channel didn't feel like I was getting very much engagement. And he brought up the anecdote. He said, well, the other day, he works with DaVinci Resolve and does a lot of video editing and stuff like that. And he said, the other day I had a question in DaVinci Resolve. I didn't know how to do something. And a year ago, I would have gone to YouTube to answer that question. I would have found a YouTube tutorial. But instead, I opened up ChatGPT. And within a few minutes, ChatGPT had given me the answer. And I had this same experience. I was actually trying to do something inside of Kajabi. And I spent about an hour and a half searching through Kajabi's help site and YouTube and trying to figure out how to do it, and couldn't figure out how to do it. And I opened up ChatGPT and asked ChatGPT, and it gave me 3 answers or something. And 2 of them were useless, but one of them was right. One of them was the right answer. And it's so fast and handles a lot of the scrubbing and filtering through information that even though it's not very accurate a lot of the time, if you're doing something that's low risk, it almost doesn't matter because you can just quickly see if it's right. And if it's not right, you can just say that didn't work or that wasn't right, and you can keep digging. And the loop between how quickly you can get a variety of answers and then how quickly you can test and validate those answers is relatively quick. And so even though it's, it can be wrong quite often, it's just so fast. It's like educated guessing, and that can be useful in certain situations. And so I also asked, the other thing is, if you looked up a question on Google, previously it would often recommend a YouTube video as the answer, as one of the top responses. And I think that it still does recommend YouTube videos sometimes, but the very top response is now a Gemini summary, right? And and I know other types of businesses are experiencing this. Bloggers and stuff have found that people aren't clicking on their website because the AI can just give them the answer without the person having to click through. And so then I went to YouTube and asked this poll, and as you can see, 48% of my existing students are using AI to help answer game development and programming related questions, which 48% is more than half of my students. And that's a good chunk of them. And I'm suspicious that, I think what I'm feeling is that when AI first started coming out, I was like, well, there's no way it can steal my job. I make educational videos on YouTube. AI can't do that yet. I didn't realize how much of my job was just answering people's questions and how much faster an AI can do that. And it might not always give the right answer, but it's so fast that it's almost like in low risk situations, it's almost worth trying it first because of how fast it is. And I think that's what's happening. Again, I can't prove any of this. This is just what I've been experiencing. And so where do I go from here? When AI initially came out, I was very, I would say, skeptical of how useful it could be. And I still have some skepticism there. There are a lot of people who think AI is just, going to revolutionize everything. But I think it's here to stay. I don't think there's anything we can do about that. We'll see. But it's like cryptocurrencies. and the internet, and these new technologies come out, and they're kind of here to stay, for better or for worse. And so I'm trying to look at what I can do. How can I serve you all as my students in a way that maybe fills gaps that AI can't fill? And I'm not sure the answer to that, but I'm clearly going to have to adapt, because whether or not AI is affecting my business, something is. And if this goes on for too much longer, I'll be getting a day job, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. It's been a good run, but I certainly would rather keep doing this. So I don't know how I'm going to adapt. I don't know where to go from here exactly. But one thing I've considered is maybe leaning into Devlogs again. As Wazard gets to production, I'll be able to do a lot more devlogs for it, as I'll be making rapid progress during production. I'll probably do a Kickstarter for Wazard, and doing devlogs could be fun. I think one of the reasons that that's useful is because it shows a struggle, right? AIs don't struggle with stuff, and so that's not relatable. They can be helpful, but they're not relatable. And so, I wonder if that's something I could lean into, is leaning into the struggle. Like, this is something I'm working on. This is something I'm fighting for as a game developer, and working toward, and sharing that struggle, if that would be more relatable to people. And when I was doing Demon Lock, clear back when, my courses continued to sell quite well during that time. I think the Demon Lock devlogs were generating enough new leads, and people were interested in the courses, that they were going and buying them. But I'm concerned about my tutorial content now, and I don't want to drop tutorial content completely, but I've done quite a bit of tutorial content over the last 7 months now, even more than that, and I've struggled to connect with my audience again. And I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's something I'm doing wrong. I know there's definitely places where I can improve. I think the biggest thing for me is that it feels like what I was doing before just doesn't work anymore. Before, if I just started making new YouTube videos, then my audience kind of re-engaged. I was able to re-engage with them just by making new content. And it doesn't feel like that works anymore. I'm struggling to get engagement again. So there you go. There's my super long rant. If you have any thoughts on this, let me know down in the comments below. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I think a lot of people are using AI to answer questions. I think that in low-risk scenarios, they're justified in doing that, because if it gives you a wrong answer, it doesn't really matter. And because you can validate the answer quickly. I don't think AI is good for generative content. I think it's terrible for that, personally. So if you're trying to get AI to make all your artwork for you, or write all your code for you, or write your book for you, I think it's terrible at that. I don't think AI is good at that right now. It might be better than your average person, but it's not as good as a skilled person who's been practicing that their whole life, and it's just not as good at creating something that is more than just kind of like the averaged out version of something. That's what it feels like to me. Whenever I see AI generated content, it just feels like the averaged out version of something. There's nothing really special about it. That's my opinion, but I do think it can be useful in other places, and I think that we're going to start seeing that. And so yeah, there we go. Let me know what your thoughts are. I appreciate any thoughts here. Please be kind in the comments. I'm bringing up this topic. It is a controversial topic. I will delete comments that are unkind. So if you can't be kind in the comments, don't say anything. because I will delete it. I will hide you from this channel if you're going to be rude about it. It's okay to have different opinions on these things, but we can be civil and kind about it. So there we go. Thanks for watching this video. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support that I've gotten from you all as students over the years. And I will talk to you all in the next one.